We lost our oldest son, who was a twin to miscarriage, very early on in the pregnancy. And it was kind of an anomaly because it's what's called a disappearing twin. And so we were 4 or 5 weeks pregnant, and I began to have some bleeding. So we went to the doctor. And she was very matter-of-fact and very cold with us and just said, "Oh, you have a blighted ovum." We didn't know it was a disappearing twin at that point. And basically, "You're not pregnant and go home." And she was just cold. And we sat there just sobbing in the emergency room, trying to cope with what had happened.
It was very much like a move on. It was a very surreal experience too. I mean, it was kind of, hey, there's no more pregnancy. You guys can try again, and we'll see you in a later appointment. So.
And then we went to the later appointment, and we had an ultrasound. And she brought up on the screen a little heartbeat. And then she said, "Oh, there's something odd here." And so we went to another ultrasound, a more sort of specific ultrasound. And they again very matter-of-factly said, "Oh, you had a disappearing twin." Just very matter-of-factly, very cold. "You had a disappearing twin. Oh, you're pregnant though, you have a pregnancy." And, so we were overjoyed, of course, but not given the chance to really process the fact that we had lost a child. In between the 2 appointments, where I thought I was not pregnant at all, and then finding out that I did have 1 healthy pregnancy, we had shared our hardship with some loved ones that were close with us. And I personally, I didn't go to work. I called out of work, and I just laid in bed and cried quite a bit. It was just really hard. And so I reached out, I think, for support, but it was kind of, people don't know what to say. And so a lot of the support, or a lot of things that loved one had said were just, you can get pregnant again, and everything's going to be all right. But it was just not what I needed to hear at that time.
Yeah, I think everyone wanted us to move on at that point, and didn't really have the understanding that we needed to grieve, or even process what was going on at that time. So,
a lot of people say, and it seems like it'd be a comforting thing to say, but it's not. They'll say, "This is God's will," or "This is what God wanted." And hearing that in the beginning is just awful, because to understand or to try to process that God wanted me to lose a child is too much to kind of bear. But certainly going to my Bible and going to church and having support of the church community and Scripture was very helpful in times of grief, for sure.
Yeah, I think knowing that Kim and I know that our God is merciful and loving, and that in a resurrection we will see that twin again. And I think we take comfort too that when we go to the table and kneel as a family in communion, that we are not only kneeling with our family here, but our family that have gone before us in heaven. And so we're building memories that way, and it is comforting to know that.
After that, I think Justin and I, we knew we had lost a child, but again, we kind of just, I wouldn't say backseated it, but it was like we were pregnant with Ben, and so we didn't process what we lost. We didn't process the loss of our child until much later. Through tears. A lot of kind of crying and coming to the realization that I had lost a child. And through prayer helped us as well.
Yeah, our second son came very quickly after our first, so I think that helped a little bit as well. And yeah, I think time kind of helped move us in a healthy direction after that. So
we supported each other. We grieved together. We cried together. We talked about it. We acknowledged that we lost a child together. And so I would say definitely Justin was my rock during it.
We were just there for each other.
Take time to process and acknowledge your loss. I think a lot of times the community around you pushes you to grieve quickly and to move on quickly and to take as much time as you need.
Yeah, really have people there for you that are present with you, and don't sugarcoat what it is. Call it what it is and what you're going through, and so that you can realize it and grieve and go through that process.
I think it's important for other people to know that their presence and acknowledgement after a couple has suffered a miscarriage is more important than anything that they could say. I think some people search for the right words to say, and there really is nothing that's the right thing to say. But simply just saying, "I'm so sorry for your loss. Is there anything I can do for you?" Or just sending maybe a little gift or some flowers is really more impactful than anything that anyone can say.
Yeah, I would say prayer together as a couple, and just to have people there with you, to grieve with you, and a hug.
Yes,
Yeah.
absolutely. Yeah.
And comfort, absolutely.
If you know someone who has suffered a miscarriage, we recommend the following.